So I think I will begin with that story. So I forgot his name. He's a very famous crime reporter from Aaj Tak. You remember his name? He's a Muslim. I used to know his name, but I forgot. He's the most famous at present, almost among all the crime reporters. So he was saying, he said, I have heard many past life stories, but this is unique, and this is the only past life story which has been totally satisfied by the scientific community, that this cannot be denied in any way. They did all the things, all the possible.
Tahir Khan?
Huh?
Tahir Khan?
Shams Tahir Khan. I think so. Shams Tahir Khan. He's from Bihar. So they did very thorough investigation. So, and then finally they concluded this cannot be denied. And as the story is, it is undeniable. If it happened, I how can I say that? But all the proofs are there. Anyone can find by going through all those things. And experts from Virginia University came, they investigated everything. And Indian experts also, they did all the investigation. The story is about a girl from a village, I think in Uttar Pradesh, maybe near about Faizabad or somewhere. I may be not saying the right. It was in Uttar Pradesh, but from near about which place I may be wrong, because after one day I forget things. If I had said it yesterday, then. So it is a story of 1960s. So at that time, the village was in absolute poor state. So even the basic facilities were not there. Water, electricity, almost nothing. She was born in a very poor family, and she just wait. Maybe all the details I may not be remembering, but her mother died when she was quite young, and then her father has to work, perhaps in Delhi or somewhere else, because there was no opportunity to earn much there, so he went there. So she was staying. Tao is uncle or what? Father's brother. So she was staying with her Tao, father's brother. And she was very lonely because there was no one. Her mother had died, father was not there. Then she got married when she was about 12, 13, something like that. Her husband was good one, caring in a way. Her in-laws were not so loving, but he also had to work. Maybe he was also going somewhere outside Delhi or somewhere. But a child was born to her in near about maybe 1985 or something. And when when the child was born, then she found uh, someone on whom she can just dedicate her whole time. So she was no longer lonely. She, other than whatever she had to do in the home, cooking food and cleaning the houses, she was all the time being with her child. Once it happened that she was going to fetch water from the well, and she was carrying her child in one hand. She draw the water from the well, and then so after taking the water from the well, she was returning back. Suddenly something happened within her. Her eyes ball started moving round and round, and because one hand was occupied, so one hand lifted on its own and the finger started turning back, and the sound from her teeth, what is the sound comes, what do you call it?
Grinding.
A kind of grinding, katkatana in Hindi they say. And her breathing became very powerful and very different. And when the villagers saw her, then because in village these things are very much, I don't know whether these things happen so much, like someone is possessed, someone is having fits, and Chural, maybe, what do you call female ghost? Is witch the right word? In a way, witch.
Yeah.
So these people they have seen all those things, so they become afraid. They were no one was coming near her, and but they became very afraid that some evil spirit has possessed her. They were around, but no one came to help her or touched her. After some time, she became normal again. And then she saw people around her. She said, "What has happened? Why all of you are here? Has something happened?" Because she has forgotten it completely. And then she took her child with her and went back home. Then after few days, it again happened at her home, and her in-laws, they saw it. The same thing, all those same things. They also became afraid. Then they told her son, informed, maybe after 1 or 2, 3 times when it happened, they informed the son that you come back, she may even harm the child. So the son came, and then he took her to the Vaid because there was no allopathic doctor. So only Ayurvedic Vaid was available there. He checked her thoroughly. He said that physically there is nothing wrong. Psychologically there is nothing wrong in her. She is totally fit. No. So But then she also realized that maybe she can also harm her child if these things happens, because she used to forget everything after that, but when everyone was telling, then she realized. So her children was mostly taken care by her mother-in-law now. Then after some time, once it happened that again she has gone with her child to take water from the well. Then it happened again. And this time she declared that after 3 days I will die, while she was in that possessed state. So people became little afraid. They were concerned about her. And 2 days passed, and the third day came, and she also decided that today I will not do anything which can bring death near to me. I will not cook food, not go near the fire, not go to the well, and not even go outside the home. So the whole day passed and nothing happened. The evening came, and then she was feeling very hot inside, and she saw one of her friend walking through that area. So she went there and she started talking outside the home. So she started talking with her friend, and they were discussing other things. They were laughing, and then suddenly she just freezed kind of, and she became like a statue, just totally frozen. Her breathing stopped, and her friend became very afraid. She just shouted loudly. Then villagers collected there, and her in-laws and her husband, they came out. And then Vaid was called again, the doctor, village doctor. So he declared that she is dead. Everything has stopped. Then, because it is tradition in Hindus that if her husband is still alive and you have died, you are called Suhagin. You have died while your husband is alive. So it is considered good when the husband is dead and then you die, then it is not considered very good. So she was like that was the tradition in her village. She was massaged with oil and all those things. They changed the dress, maybe they give her shower and all those things, but before she was being massaged. So there were few women there who were doing all those things. Many hours may have passed. Then when they were giving her massage, then one of the women went out crying loudly, shouting loudly. Then they said, "What has happened?" So she said her eyes are rolling again. So they thought that she is already dead, so maybe she had an illusion. Then after some time, the other woman said that I saw her teeth is just again creating sound. And third woman also, they also ran out and they said, third one said that I have heard her breathing very loudly. And again the Vaid was called. He said that now she is alive, so you don't take it in a laughing way. You are not so great, that not such a great scientist. There are many yogis who are able to stop their breath. Osho has told about one Brahmbhut or something was his name. And so many scientists have given him certificate all over the world. He could stop his breath for heartbeat and everything for certain time. He had that capacity. So he got whatever is the condition for being dead, he used to fulfill everything. And there is one Swami Ram, maybe he is still alive. He can do so many miraculous things. He can just change his temperature, whatever, willingly. He can stop his breath. And he is regarded very much. He is in Western world. So don't think you are too smart. So, but the real story is not this much. Even if this happened, maybe there was certain sign of life which he could not detect. One can agree. But this is not this. Not because of this I am telling this story. Now all your signs will just disappear. All your signs will go farting now. Once I will tell the whole thing. But idiots, people are just idiotic. They think they are so very scientific. Science cannot explain everything. Whatever happens in this world, science cannot explain everything. And I am not being unscientific in saying this. So then the doctor said that you just take care of her. Maybe she had certain very big shock now. Don't give her much tension. Maybe it happened because of some great shock. But she came back to life. After that, she was not able to recognize her in-laws, her husband, her child, everything. She said, I don't know who you are. I don't know all of you. Yes. I have no relation. Her husband came running to her and hugged her. He thought that it's just a great blessing that she is back from death. But she said, what you are doing? You are a stranger. How can you touch me? Just piss off. So then she was living there, but she could not recognize anyone, and she has no interest anymore in her child also. So her mother-in-law was taking care of her child. But after maybe 3 months, she started writing letters. And she gave the letters to her husband that you post it. He thought that because something has happened, she is writing something, maybe some gibberish kind of thing. But she was giving him regularly to post all those letters. So he was posting. Then maybe after 3 months, a man came, some Ram Thakur or something, whatever. He was a Brahmin. He came there. He said, inquired in the village, is there any girl here who is possessed and who has fit kind of thing, some strange kind of girl? They said that yes, there is one. they showed him this. You go, this is the house. Then he went there and he asked these people that I'm looking for that girl. Is there any such girl in your home? They said, why you want? What is? He said, just tell me whether there is anyone like that or not. While he was talking, she heard the girl. Her name, I think, was Sumitra. So she heard it. She came running and she just hugged the person. And she said, you are my father. You came. Why you took so much time to come? Then he said that, what you are talking? My daughter has died long. Maybe he didn't say that. He said that you are not my daughter. But because she has written all those letters, so he also came to inquire what is the reality. So he had a briefcase from which he took out an album. He said that, can you recognize any of? So she recognized all of those people. Oh, you are. Her father was there, so she said, you are there, and then mother and her brother, her two sons, small sons, her husband, and one. She recognized everyone, but one person. She just was touching the photo, but she didn't say anything. Then the father said, who is she? She said, she is my sister-in-law who killed me with a stone or something. So she has recognized everyone well. So he understood that this is. And she was writing all those letters in English. She was absolutely uneducated. She could not even speak Hindi well. She was speaking Hindi in village dialect. So she was totally uneducated in this life. So he understood that this is the same, my girl, my daughter. Her father was a professor or lecturer in certain university, very educated person. And she, in her past life, in that life, her name was Shiva. And she was a graduate, well-educated girl. So she came back with him. And then after her death, the police had arrested her husband and her father-in-law. And her mother-in-law and sister-in-law, they had escaped. So after keeping them in jail for some time, they released them because they could not find any proof. Then her mother-in-law and sister-in-law also came back. They had escaped somewhere, but they were also put in jail for some time. But there was because of lack of proof, they were also released. So in that home, she was being constantly tortured because they were asking for more, dowry and all those things, because she was from a rich family and her in-laws' family, none of them were as educated as her. So they were jealous of her also, and they were always asking for money. So when this her sister-in-law had killed her with the stones, her husband and his younger brother or some people, they had took her to the railway track. Mm. But maybe from there her dead body was recovered, and as far as I remember, this girl had died one day after the one day after Sumitra had declared that I will be dying in 3 days. So then the girl decided, her husband, the earlier husband, because though he was not participant in killing her, but he was also he also wanted to wipe all the proofs. So he has taken her to the railway track, and he was also not very loving, but he found the husband of Shakuntala, husband of what was her name, Sumitra. He was a good man, so she decided, I will live with him, and I will take my earlier 2 sons, they were small kids, and I will take care of his son also, her later husband. So she decided, I will be with her. So then this news was flashed in newspapers, then those who Indian scientists, they just went there and they tried to inquire. And when the news became popular, then from Virginia University also experts came. They did everything. They tried to match photos, pictures, and then her handwriting now, and the writing which she had written to her father, and her earlier handwriting when she was Shiva. So it was all matched. They did everything. They found her, everything about her birth, when she was born, what. So everything was completely proved that this is a totally true story. So they declared that this is the only story in the whole world which is scientifically totally proved. There is no loophole here. So what do you think, why it happened? Can you give any explanation? Meanwhile, I drink the tea. I finish the tea.
Maybe there may be 2-3 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One is maybe she was killed and she has eager desire to expose them.
Evil desire to expose them.
Eager
desire.
And existence of nature helped her to do so. Existence of nature helped her to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Second, maybe she may be just in this life.
Mm-hmm.
She may be just maybe meditative or just thinking about the past again and again.
But these two were totally different person. It was not a reincarnation like usually that you from the birth you are born in a different body. Both of the earlier girl, Shiva, was born little bit before her. before what was her name? Sumitra. But they were not like you are entering into the womb of a newborn baby. She entered into an adult person. So how you can explain it?
Entered in adult person? She was different, girl, and she was different.
Yeah.
You are saying that?
Yeah. She had already died. The Shiva had already died. She was dead. And when she entered into Sumitra, then she forgot everything about. She became Shiva.
Okay, so she was.
Sumitra was totally deleted from her system. Sumitra was totally deleted for her system. Shiva entered into her.
Okay, got it. And also, Sumitra was there when Shiva died. She was present. You are saying this.
What you said? Sumitra was
there in the world in this and when Shiva died, she was also there. You are saying that the overlapping of time was there. You are saying that.
Say again exactly what you want to say. Say it in Hindi. Say it in Hindi.
When Sumitra, yeah. तो सुमित्रा जब पैदा हुई उस समय या सुमित्रा जब इस समय थी तो शिवा उसके बाद मरी है. ये नहीं कि उनके टाइम डिफरेंस अलग अलग हो कि शिवा के मरने के बाद सुमित्रा पैदा हुई, ऐसा नहीं.
Both Shiva and Sumitra were almost contemporary. Perhaps Shiva was born just few years ahead of her, and she died. Shiva died perhaps one day after, when Sumitra declared that I will be dying in 3 days. So she died one day. She was killed one day after Sumitra had declared. So you have anything to say, or I will have to explain?
So this is totally mystery then. If Sumitra were there earlier, then it's totally mystery. I don't know.
I will explain you. Also based on how Osho has explained all those things. Osho has said it that you remember past life very clearly only when you had died in your earlier life as a child. Because your past life is still fresh. You have died just maybe some time back, and now you are entering into new. Usually it takes about within 1 or 2 days, 3 days, you enter into another womb. So, but what happens, it's not that like you have a body, Bhupendra has this body. This body is finished. It has nothing. When you die, what happens is bundles of thoughts are released. If someone dies, then bundles of thoughts of whatever is all his earning, kind of his lust, desire, and all those things are released as thought. And thought is also a matter. And if you are not a one, like you are thinking, you have different people living in you. You have different desires. You want to be liberated also, and you want to have lot of money also. You are desiring contradictory things. Then you are not one kind of person. So all those thoughts will find people around, nearest people who are receptive to it, they will enter into them. Like whatever is the desire of the person who has died is similar to someone who is living now. If the person is receptive, because they have similarity, it's like what do you call it? You are in tune, frequency is matching. Like we match the frequency of the radio. When it is matched, then only you can hear things well. So if someone is near, is present, near the person who has died, and if they have the same kind of desire, same kind of quality, it will enter. And you have other desires which is different, then it will enter into some other person. Anyone who is receptive will catch it, and it will start functioning through. Because nothing can die in this world. This is what is conservation of energy. Nothing can be destroyed. These are seeds. Seed, find some soil which is receptive, which is like right ground for it to sprout. So it will work through it. But if you are like a person who has only one kind of desire, very clear, then your whole bundle of thought will enter into one person. Then only you can remember past life. Then only you can connect, because it's not all your desires, all your motives and your lust and greed is not entering into different person. If it is entering into different person, then how you can remember? But if everything enter into one person, like all your software is entering in a one hardware, maybe, I don't know computer much. Am I right? Then you can connect with your past. I was this person, I had done these things, and now I am this. So if everything enter into someone, only one person, then you will be able to remember very well. Otherwise, you may have some reliving. Something happens while you are in meditation or you are hypnotized, you can have certain memories. But they will be disjoint, not joined. You cannot join everything together. You understood or not? Is it clear? So usually when a child dies, because they have very limited, limited memory and limited things, limited material. So, and they are mostly pure. So if they die, they will be able to remember. It will enter into this, and now your death has happened and you were just freshly you have died and you are born again into fresh womb. Everything has entered into one womb. So there is a possibility you can remember. And Osho has, I think, also said somewhere that some of the past remembrance is there, past life in the child, most of the child, something. If they are like now, maybe it may not be possible because children are no longer children. They are never left to be just, from the very beginning, they are bombarded with information. So you are giving him so much fresh information, everything past will just disappear. It cannot. But if the child remains empty for a very long time, he may have certain remembrance. So he was saying that they remember something of the past. A small child till the age of 4 or something. It may not be as a memory, but exact memory, but something is there, some trace is there. For example, I can say what used to happen to me. I don't know, I have asked few people, but they never said that it happened to them also. When I was a child, then I will be like sitting somewhere on my roof watching tree and all those things. Then I will, after it will happen suddenly, I will forget everything. Maybe this was the experience of meditation in my past life. I will forget all those. I will just become empty kind. and I will forget the ego and everything. And after, it was like I will forget even my existence. And then after a certain time, I will again, the remembrance will come. I will say, oh, okay, oh, I am alive still. I can recognize myself, because you can recognize yourself only because certain identity is given to you. You are this body, you have this name, you have a memory. So for some time I will be lost totally. That is disidentification with the body. You are disidentified with this body. And then I used to be very mystified seeing everything, from where all those things has come. So it may be because of effort of meditation in past life. And I remember that when my father was working in a factory called Gurol, then every week maybe he will be going to Muzaffarpur. So maybe the distance was maybe 50-60 kilometers, whatever, I don't remember exactly. So while returning back from Muzaffarpur to Gurol again, it will be night time. So almost the whole time I will be just keeping my eyes closed. How many children will do that? It's not that I was sleeping. I was just in my own way meditating. Whatever I have said, you have experienced these things? Both of you, any of you? You will just forget yourself, this body completely. Huh? What?
I have my experience been a little different. Sometime I'm just with persons with talking and I'm lost, like, then they will have to just ask, are you there?
And that is a different thing.
They are just momentary.
That is totally different thing. That is called being spaced out. But what I was saying was not exactly space out. It was different thing. And I used to have deja vu also. I used to feel that it's like I have known these things. I have experienced those things. But this is just a deviation. So why it happened to that girl? This girl from the village, this is my explanation. This is not, Osho is not saying. This girl from the village had no individuality. No personality has developed in her. She was just like open to anything. Anything can enter into her. She had no strong ego. Ego is also needed. If you have no strong ego, then you cannot survive well. Ego is like the outer hard part of the coconut, which is needed. Otherwise, how it will survive? It's like the thorn for the roses. If the thorn is not there, maybe animals will eat everything. So thorns are needed. It is protective. You need a protective layer. So maybe because her mother had died when she was just a small child and her father was working somewhere else. So she was never given any attention, any love. How the child develops that I am this person, I am this body. Because you are constantly reminding the child. You are Rama, the mother is touching the cheek of the child and she is saying, oh my son, beloved. She is hugging the child. Everyone is giving attention. Then slowly the child starts feeling that I am separate from everything. I have my own existence. Otherwise, in the beginning, every child says that if you have given him the name Rama, he will say Rama is feeling hungry. He will not say I am feeling hungry. Rama is feeling sleepy. So, because she had no individuality, no ego, strong ego had not developed. So she was receptive, open to all kind of thoughts, waves that was coming there. She was not corrupted. She was not educated. So she had, her system was empty. It was receptive for things. She was not a person at all. Just like a small child in a way. So she was receptive to all kind of thought waves and everything. So that's why maybe earlier when these things were happening, all those fits, she was being possessed. It may not have anything to do with Shiva. And those things prepared her. She became even more receptive. Then intuitively she felt somewhere, because your consciousness, if you are not, the consciousness is not identified with this body very much, then it is your consciousness and the universal consciousness are not separate things. So anything which is going to happen, if you are innocent, it can be, you can know it earlier. There is a possibility. It happened to me also when my mother was sick and I went to a camp, meditation camp in Patna. What is her name? Neelam. Neelam was taking that camp. So while I was doing this Nath Brahm meditation, and the second stage, I think perhaps when you are taking energy from existence, when you are gathering thing, what do you call it? First you empty yourself. Whatever you have, you are sharing with the whole existence. And the second part of that second stage, you are gathering all the positive energy and everything from existence. So maybe at that time, when you are receiving, taking back, first you have emptied, now you have created the space to get from existence. So suddenly it was intuitively, I felt that now my mother is not going to recover. It's not that the thought came, just some kind of feeling came to me that she is not going to recover. And while I was doing this gathering, when I was gathering energy from existence, I started crying very much. And it became somewhere very clear. There was no doubt at all that as if there is some thought, but there is opposite thought also. It was very clear that she is not going to recover. So I just thought maybe something. And because she wanted to be in hospital, and my father was not willing. He said that she has no problem. Why? I had asked her once that what you want, because she was creating some nuisance also before she became more sick. So I said, what you want? She said, I want to be hospitalized. Because maybe she was not satisfied with the care which they were giving to her, all the female who were around her. So I told my father that she wants to be hospitalized. He said, there's nothing for what she will be hospitalized. I tried to make him understand, but he was not ready to listen. I told all my like her brother and her two of her brothers were there, and that you ask my father, you tell her that she should be hospitalized. And she started recover little bit, maybe she was recovering. Then I went to my grandfather's house, and there it was Chhat Puja. So my elder Mamu, he asked me what you are doing at present. So I said that I went to take a meditation camp at some place. They had opened a meditation center. So he said, you should go at those places. Then he asked me what you are going to do next. I said, my master has a camp, but I cannot go because my mother is not well. So he said that you should go wherever you need to go, you should go. Why you have to? Your mother has taken care of your father her whole life. Now it is his turn to take care of her. So why you have to remain here? You just go. I was at that time confused whether to go or not. I had never gone to 40 days meditation camp. So then when he said, and he was her brother, he's saying, then I thought, now it is all right. And even Nilu was ready. I was not thinking I can arrange that much money. So she was also ready. So it happened. But I had told her that maybe while I am in the camp, she will die. So, but I will not come back. Because when I saw whatever is happening, all the ridiculous thing that was happening here, I decided I will not come. So on that day, that very day when she died, I was sitting in Sarvsara meditation. And suddenly, from somewhere it came, she is dead. So, just suddenly from somewhere it came, she is dead. I didn't give much attention to it. Just I thought maybe just I will know if and I one day before that, I think one day before, I started that something may happen to her, something like that, and then I was trying to connect with her at some subtle level. So, and then I told her, Manish also, I think at that time the silence period had not started. So I told him that you just, or maybe you ask Swamiji whether I can talk, or you talk with my family, whether she is all right or not. And somewhere I was feeling, and that day there was very strong wind also, and I was feeling something as if her subtle body or whatever is hovering around, something like that. Not exactly in words I can say, but I was trying to connect with her. So then later on in the day, someone who was there who used to receive maybe phone there, he said that there is some news from your from your home. I said, what? He said that Manish will tell. So I went to Manish. He also said Gurudev will tell. Then when the next session, when he was talking, he started talking on death. Then it became almost clear. So the tears started coming in. Once the session was finished, he said that, Alok, you come with me. So I went with him. Then, because I had told him earlier that I would like to talk with you when there is no one around. He said, now you can talk because no one is here now. I said, I will talk later. First you tell whether my mother is alive or not. He said, mother is gone. He was saying tears were just still in his eyes also, in my eyes also. We looked into each other's eyes, and then he said that, what do you want? You want to go back or you want to stay here? You just decide. If you want to go back, we will arrange immediately for you. I said, within some seconds or maybe immediately, I will stay here. And I told him, don't tell to other people that she has died, because otherwise everyone will be asking me. I want to just face it myself. And he also said, but don't try to think much about her, just. So it helped a lot because I was there. And from the very beginning, I was even doing dynamic at that time. I knew that this is going to happen, so I have to deal with it. And she was the only person at that time who was, to some extent, she used to understand me in my family, and she was taking care of me also. So and at that time, then I felt very empty, so I used to walk on the rooftop on a very thin wall. Then when Swamiji saw it, I think he said that Alok can do it because he has a practice. Though I also had no practice. I was just like whether if death happens, it will happen. So I was just like what I will do, because no one will understand me anymore. And I felt like I'm just like an orphan now, in a way. So, but then nothing happened. So, and this woman, this girl, Shiva, because she was killed, she had no desire to die. She was totally. So, this girl also must have been an innocent girl, Shiva. And she had no desire to die. She was killed. And the girl in the other place, she was very receptive to these kind of things. So somewhere it happened that she found the right vehicle to carry herself. And because this girl had no personality, no individuality, she was just like a tabula rasa, empty slate. So her whole personality, her whole individuality entered into her. So when she managed, it's not that someone is planning it, all these things happens. So before it has to happen, she has to die also, to whatever she was. She had a child, she has a husband, she had mother-in-law, father-in-law, everything has to be deleted. Only then a complete person can enter. Otherwise it will be partial. Then you cannot remember. So after certain time, this body may not be 100% ready for a new person. It took her 2-3 months. Then she started writing. She became totally comfortable in this new home. Then everything came back. She became Shiva. She started writing in English. She knew this girl, Sumitra. She knew nothing about English language. She was totally uneducated. So Sumitra cannot write at all, not at all possible. But when a new person has entered completely, after certain time, that became her home, and whatever was the software, the whole software entered into this hardware. So it started functioning. New computer began to operate. It happened because she became the right vehicle, right receptacle for a complete person to enter. Accidentally or any way, she was willing to die. So she died as the old person. Then the new person could function, and everything came back to her. She became Shiva totally. She could. While her father came, she was speaking fluently in English and Hindi. And when those who came from Virginia University and others, they saw everything. They tried to match everything, and they found that there was no. It is a complete. Shiva has the other person has entered into this person completely. So this is a kind of, in a way, a miracle, but it is a law of maybe life which people don't understand. The thing is that when nothing dies, nothing can die. Then it has to function somehow. Whether you remember anything or not. And if you see yourself, like when you try to become meditative and everything, you are trying, but at the same time, you want to get rid of your thoughts, you want to get rid of your anger and lust, but they are not, in spite of all your effort, they overpower you. And you have so many things which you are not able to understand from where they have come. Why they are in me. I don't want all those things. But these are your past. And also how there will be no rebirth. That also Osho has made it very clear that when you are not releasing any thought at the time of death, you are just consciousness. You have become totally empty, and you are just consciousness. There is no thought inside you while the time of death. Then there will be no birth. There is nothing to be born in you. You are dying consciously without any desires, without any thoughts. That's why it is said that if you are desireless, you can know yourself, your real nature. Otherwise, if you have so many desires, these are the cloud in which you are trapped. These are your bondage. So that's why it is said in meditation, the first thing which you have to do is to make yourself empty. But people think that becoming empty is the last thing. Only when you are empty, then you have created the right ground to be conscious. Otherwise, you can never be conscious. It's not that the consciousness is not functioning in your mechanism, in your body-mind mechanism. But you are lost in your desires, in your thoughts, in your feeling, in your emotions. So first you have to empty, you have to become deprogrammed. You have to become unconditioned. Only then you can be conscious. That's why I was just, the insight came that there is no story about Krishna like Buddha, that he was lost in his indulgence. He was totally lost in sense pleasure. And then suddenly one day he realized that these are just, he is wasting his life. And then the story, which may be all symbolic, he saw a sick man. He saw an old man, and then he saw a sick man, then he saw a dead man, then he saw sannyasi. So all those things changed him. If he found that this life will lead me to old age, to sickness, to death. That is its completion. It is moving towards that. He was going to inaugurate a youth festival. And he said to his charioteer, now come, return back. The charioteer said, you have to inaugurate the youth festival. He said, now there is no youth festival for me. If old age to happen, if sickness has to happen, if death has to happen, I have already become old. It is only a matter of time. This is intelligence. Then he saw the sannyasi and he asked, who is this man? What has happened to this man? His charioteer said, he is in search of truth. He said, I want to be like this now. So take the chariot back. So when you hear Krishna's life, there is nothing like that. So it is not very much appealing to a person who is totally lost in the world, who is like you have created your own hell, and now you want a way out of it. You are in a prison. Krishna was in the Gurukul of his master. I think his Guru was Sandeepni. So he had to make no effort to know himself. He was already empty at that time. He was already pure at that time. And he realized the consciousness. So he is all, if you hear Gita, he is talking just about consciousness. He is not talking as a person in Gita. He is talking as the pure consciousness, as the universal consciousness. That's why he is declaring, I am the ultimate truth. You just surrender to me. But he is no less than Buddha. Maybe he is even, because Buddha he lost it. It's like you have lost the paradise and you regained it. But this will be more appealing to a normal person. He is expressing truth in a positive way. Buddha is expressing it in a negative way. This is called neti, not this, not this. He will never talk about what is health. He will talk about sickness. You are sick, you are diseased. Life is suffering. Why there is suffering? Suffering is because of tanha, desire. You can get rid of this suffering. By following this eightfold path. And there is a state where there is no suffering. He will not talk about bliss and all those things. He will talk about only there is state where there is no suffering. And then you will yourself found whether it is bliss or not. But he is talking like a doctor, like a scientist. He will not tell you anything positive. That you have to find yourself, whether there is anything or not.